Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here with my next Boruto anime review. This one's going to be for episode 165, which is called The Quadruplet's Duty. So, this wasn't a particularly strong episode. Really, this episode was one scene, just extended and extended and extended out into a full episode. Yes, they delved a little bit into the backstory of the quadruplets, but even then, it wasn't in a lot of depth. It made you feel for them a little bit, but they still didn't inherently reveal what the Land of Haze needs the cells for. Just that this is their mission and they're so devoted to it, and they seem to devote everything to this nation for helping them when they were younger. And they have this sort of personal thing with this, tree in the background of in the back of their orphanage, and that's sort of where they want to be buried, basically. And that's fine, but I don't think you needed a whole episode to create the situation for that to happen in. Otherwise, it was just the third quadruplet's sacrificial jutsu. He traps them all in this swamp thing and has these vines, and they're all being sucked under, and if you get sucked under, you die. And it's just a whole episode figuring out that, if you're close to him, you'll sink even quicker. But, wait, right towards the end, they realize he's the one sinking the quickest, so he's going to die. The jutsu will be deactivated and we'll get out. He's just stalling for time. This jutsu has this inherent flaw in that it's literally just a stall for time jutsu, because I think that makes it seem almost even worse, that the jutsu inherently doesn't work unless the people you've trapped in it move too much and get too close and shrink quicker than you do. Which isn't a particularly effective jutsu. Again, it's just a stall for time. They then get into the dynamic that Boruto actually begins to sort of feel something for this one of the quadruplets in front of him, but I suppose just them in general, and the fact that as shinobi, they're sort of being used here. Their duty to their nation is being used as a reason for they should have to sacrifice themselves for the mission. Boruto doesn't agree with that and actually wants to save them in the end. And we just build up. It's a relatively nice moment, I think, of just Boruto moving closer to him to try and sort of separate his hands to stop the jutsu that way. You don't need to sacrifice yourself when this is all it's for. It's obviously revealed that the final quadruplet is going off on his own across the border, but then Omoi arrives. He's survived, of course, and reveals that, Deepa defeated me, and he now knows that the Land of Haze is where he needs to go. So the final quadruplet is going to encounter Deepa, and that's not going to go well, so they have to get out of here. And so this is how they convince the third quadruplet to break off the jutsu, and I guess they're going to end up roughly together in the same spot, and we're going to have this massive 6-7-on-1 fight against Deepa, and we'll get to see the full scope of his powers. So the setup for the next episode actually looks very good. It looks like it's going to be pretty high quality animation. Our first, I suppose, really, really big fight with Deepa. We had the Omoi one and it was nice, but this is going to be, main characters involved, and we'll get to see, I suppose, what jutsu Deepa has. I suppose we'll maybe get the first stage of some sort of an explanation about what's going on with him. If he does have a weakness, it will be found here. We're also waiting to see where Sarada gets her second Tomoe or for her Sharingan from, and this might be where it happens. That said, we know next week's episode isn't the end of the arc. There's still a bunch more episodes, at least up to 168, I think we have synopsises for. The arc is still continuing there and not into the manga content yet, so we could still have quite a while. So, the pacing definitely hasn't been great, but there is stuff going on here that I think myself and other fans do care about. It's just episodes like this definitely aren't exactly what you want. This episode wasn't terrible. in that the new jutsu, you do feel for what these brothers are doing, sacrificing themselves along the way. And I think the fact that they showed finally in flashback the first of the brothers sacrificing themselves, that was actually an interesting scene to see. Just that they're all happy together, but then they're just all so devoted to this. They all just accept when it's the time for the next brother to sacrifice themselves. And I think it's an interesting twist that the third one didn't die in this episode, and they could actually have two of them survive. And I think in a way that will be fitting. Again, it depends on what exactly this is for. Why did the Land of Haze want the Hashirama cell? What's the reasoning behind it? And I suppose we'll find out, like, was the death of the other two brothers worth doing what they did, and where are they going to go going forward? I think they have to have some sort of emotional payoff with these characters now that you've committed to making us sort of care about them. So obviously that means, like, we sort of hope they aren't just all killed off by Deepa in the next episode potentially, but we'll see what they do. So yeah, episode 165, okay, but definitely one of the weaker episodes of the arc. This was definitely their sort of episode where they weren't going to do too much to build up for an episode where they are going to go all out with the animation. That seems to be the way they're going. And that sort of thing happens in animations, especially like this, where it's basically one episode every week, like all year. It's not 13 episodes per season or 26 episodes per season. No, it's like pretty much once a week. And so, of course, with something like this, the schedule is going to go up and down. You're going to get weaker episodes. You're going to get stronger episodes. That's just how it has to work. So yeah, they're my thoughts on the episode. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.